What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel. We're doing something different today. I promised you guys a countdown of my favorite Pixar movies. Well, actually, I promised you a countdown of the top 5 DCEU movies, but that video's coming a little bit later. Right now, in honor of Coco, and since I've already put off the Justice League video long enough, we're just gonna keep going with this. We're talking Pixar, we're talking top 10, and this is probably the hardest list I have ever had to make because all of these movies, they're just fantastic, and it's hard to put them in an order. So here's what's going to happen. I am going to attempt to order these. Everyone who watches this video is going to have a completely different list, but that is the beauty of cinema, and that is the beauty of Pixar. I would love for you guys to share your top 10 with me in the comments section. There are absolutely going to be movies on your list that are not on my list. There are going to be movies that are in completely different slots, but once again, I am in awe of how many amazing movies Pixar has come out with, and I'll have you know right now, every movie on my top 10 list, I have given above an 85%. You guys know how strict I am on movies, and the fact that I have given 10 Pixar movies this high of scores, and they're all so similar and close together, I don't know if I'm doing this right. But I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Let's get this list started with my number 10. That's right, I can hear the boos now. Up is my number 10 Pixar movie of all time, and this is a movie that it took me a couple of watches to really understand how monumental this story is. Now, I think the reason that this movie is number 10 on my list is because the first 10-15 minutes are just so good compared to the rest of the movie, but really, they're so good compared to many movies. But it was just hard to live up to the first couple of scenes in this movie. The rest of the movie is great, and I know it's low on this list, but really, I love Up, and I hope you guys love it as well. Number 9 to me is Ratatouille. Now, Ratatouille, I actually didn't watch this movie until about 2 or 3 years after it came out, but man, why did it take me so long? This is such a wonderful story with incredible voice acting. I love Patton Oswalt, and his turn as Remy was great, and I just think this is such a heartwarming movie with great character dynamics. The animation is absolutely beautiful, and I cannot get enough of watching this over and over again. It's definitely one of the most different Pixar movies, and I think that's one of the reasons it couldn't crack my top 5, but really, you have to give this movie props for how awesome it is. Look, what can I say about Inside Out that has not been said already? Inside Out is just such a creative force. Everything about this movie, from the voice acting to the character development to just the colors on screen. Look at all the colors. It's great, it's smart, and it's a great movie to watch if you want a little throwback to how your childhood was, because this thing absolutely wrecked my brain and made me think, and that is what I love about an animated movie. It's one of the reasons why I love the Emoji Movie. WALL-E. That is my attempt at an impression. That's, yeah, that's all you're getting. Look, WALL-E is not just one of the best Pixar movies ever. I contend that this is one of the greatest sci-fi films of all time. The way that the story is told is beautiful, and the way that these characters can interact with little to no dialogue is incredible to me. The first time I watched it, I was a little hesitant to say that it was a great movie, but upon rewatch, it got better and better, and I really do think this is a sci-fi masterpiece, and more people who are non-Pixar fans, I think, could really get attached to this movie. But if you're not a Pixar fan, why are you watching this video? Yes, Coco is number 6. Look, I have only watched this movie one time, and I just reviewed it on my channel if you missed that, but look, Coco is how you want a movie to be told. It is different enough, it is crazy enough, and it is beautiful enough just to say that this is a movie that only comes around once every couple of years. It told these traditions so well, and it kept an eye on what was important in the story. I think the main kid is awesome, the music was great, and the ending was just so, it packs a punch. Yeah, I know it's early to say, and I could watch Coco again. It could be lower or higher, but it definitely belongs in my top 10. And yeah, I'm putting it at 6. I'm a crazy person. put that thing back where it came from. Also help me.
2319!
Other than the original Toy Story, I would say out of all the Pixar movies, I have watched Monsters, Inc. more than most movies in cinematic history. This is the one that I had on DVD, and every time I would get bored, I would pop this puppy in, and oh man, watching it today, I just get more out of it because this is such a creative movie. The idea of what monsters do when they pop out under your bed, they have their own factory, their own corporation, and then you throw Boo into the mix and everything goes awry. What can I say that hasn't been already said about Monsters, Inc., guys? I love this movie, and it deserves a spot in my top 5. Another one that I grew up with. Look, a lot of this is nostalgia. Maybe some of the movies lower on the top 10 deserve to be a little bit higher, but Finding Nemo is a movie that when you grow up with it, you just can't become unattached, and I absolutely love everything about this movie, from the music to the visuals to the way that the shots were filmed underwater. Well, I mean, they weren't filmed, it was CGI, but the way they look underwater is just incredible, and this movie got a sequel, and although the sequel I didn't like as much, I still enjoyed Finding Dory, but Finding Nemo deserves a spot in my top 5. Yes, the OG. Now, this is the one that I think I have watched this movie more than any other movie in history. I love Toy Story. And not just because, oh, it's nostalgic. Austin, you only like it because it's nostalgic. No, I like it because it's a movie that changed the game. It's a movie that came in and it took everybody by storm. And it created 2 sequels, both of which are just as good. And what is left to be said other than Tom Hanks and Tim Allen are everyone's childhood that grew up in the 90s, and this movie just takes the cake for one of the most awesome animated movies in history. And a movie that I believe triumphs the original. Now, while I haven't watched this one as much, I have watched it just enough to cry multiple times. Look, Toy Story 3 is an absolute masterclass example of how you make an animated movie. It took everything we liked from the first and the second. Oh, and by the way, Toy Story 2 is not on this list. It is number 11, and it came very close to cracking my top 10, but that's how good these movies are. But Toy Story 3 just ended this thing on the highest of highs, although it looked like it was going to end on the lowest of lows. It took chances, it made mistakes, it quoted the Magic School Bus, which is what I just did, and yeah, Toy Story 3 is incredible. Where is it? Where has it been? It's not on your list yet, Austin. Yeah, because I'm saving it for number 1. That's pretty good. Did it with my mouth.
That's what she said!
Yep, The Incredibles. Look, I'm not going to say very much about this movie. It's one of the greatest superhero films ever made. It is what the Fantastic Four should have been, blah, blah, blah. Everyone has said it. There's nothing left for me to say. This movie is finally getting a sequel. I'm so excited for it. It is a film that every time I watch it, I get happy, I smile, I quote it, I sing the song, I do the dance, and I try to get Dash's powers by running on water, and it's never worked. Okay, I'm losing my mind. But if you guys didn't know, The Incredibles is my favorite Pixar movie. So like I said, what is your all's top 10? Thank you so much for watching this video. I love these movies so much. From 10 to 1, they're so replaceable, and maybe tomorrow my list is going to be completely different. I could switch it. My 10 could be 1, my 1 could be... No, The Incredibles is my favorite. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be doing my top 5 DCEU movies. I'm going to review the Florida Project very soon, and I'm going to keep this video as short as I can possibly keep it by ending it right now. You guys are the absolute best, and I'll catch you later.